Right here on your TV, it's Monday, June 1st, and I'm Jessica Kading. Taking a look now at our local COVID-19 numbers, we're going to focus on the active number of cases in our region since many residents who previously had the virus have already fully recovered. In Burlington, as of today, there are currently 0 confirmed cases. There are, however, 15 probable cases, meaning those people are showing symptoms but have not yet been tested or received test results. There are 11 confirmed active cases in Oakville with an additional 25 probable. In Milton, there's still 13 active cases plus an additional 20 pending. And finally, in Halton Hills, there are 3 active cases but 14 probable cases. Overall, from the beginning of the crisis, the Halton region has reported 645 confirmed COVID-19 cases, plus additionally 74 current probable cases. There have been 591 recoveries and unfortunately 25 deaths. Police were called to an armed home invasion in Georgetown over the weekend. It was 2 a.m. on Sunday when 4 suspects forced entry into a home armed with a gun. There were shots fired as the victim was home, but fortunately there were no injuries. The suspects are described as 4 black males, all wearing dark clothing with masks covering their faces. Investigators are appealing to the public for dash cam footage, home or business surveillance video to help solve this problem. Anyone with video footage between 1 and 3 a.m. in the area of Main Street North and Ewing Street in Georgetown is asked to assist police. You can do so anonymously if you wish by contacting Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, it's another one for the history books. NASA and SpaceX have successfully launched astronauts to the International Space Station for the first time in the past 10 years. This happened over the weekend, and Melissa Candelaria has that story.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA, go SpaceX, Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
And there you have it. The Dragon has launched. On Saturday, NASA, in partnership with SpaceX, successfully launched 2 astronauts to the International Space Station. Oakville resident and retired astronaut Dr. David Williams says it was an incredible launch.
I was glued to my seat all day Saturday, just getting ready for the launch, and then, of course, doing live commentary during the launch. An unbelievable historic moment. The weather opened up. The launch was picture perfect. Everything went according to plan. The crew did a phenomenal job, had a ride of a lifetime on a historic first vehicle, opening up the dawn of the new era of space exploration.
And the first step to this new era of space exploration is making sure that, well, everything works. Williams says the main focus of this mission was to demonstrate the capabilities of the Dragon spacecraft.
During launch, rendezvous and docking, they were able to assess the handling characteristics of the vehicle on orbit. They're thrilled, absolutely thrilled with the precision, the performance of the spacecraft. The ride was a lot smoother than on the space shuttle. You didn't get the jostling back and forth that we get on the shuttle with the solid rocket boosters. So far it's been a really successful mission, demonstrating launch, rendezvous, docking, all taken care of very successfully. And now they'll be remaining on the space station for a period of time. The last portion of the mission to assess the technology is the re-entry of Dragon, the landing of Dragon, and then a recovery of the crew from the vehicle.
Station Houston on the Big Loop. Houston and station are now go for docking.
So what does this mean for the future of space exploration? Williams says it's a critical stepping stone in the path back to the moon.
Those Artemis missions of the future, hopefully around 2024, 2025, and perhaps we'll see a Canadian on one of those missions. Of course, we have Jeremy Hansen next up for a space flight. He hasn't been assigned yet to the best of my knowledge, but we're looking forward to that mission. Then we've got Josh and Ginny ready to go as well. So it's going to be an exciting future for Canada in space, seeing future flights to the space station and potentially a Canadian walking on the surface of the moon.
Now, this mission has a personal connection for Williams. Having gone to the International Space Station himself 12 years ago, Williams says he certainly feels like he's there in spirit.
My heart is with both Bob and Doug and, of course, the space station crew. It's just a phenomenal mission, and there's nothing better for an astronaut than the first test flight of a new spacecraft. The picture behind me is of the space shuttle. The last time I was on the International Space Station, I took that on my second spacewalk. So yeah, I helped build the space station. Now it's exciting seeing the station used for its research purposes to get us ready for missions back to the moon.
On behalf of the SpaceX and NASA partnership, congratulations on a phenomenal accomplishment and welcome to the International Space Station.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Melissa Candelaria.
June marks National Indigenous History Month, a time to learn more about the rich history of the Indigenous peoples who shaped our province and our country. Oakville North Burlington MP Pam Damoff is the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Indigenous Services, so I asked her how she recommends we spend some time learning and appreciating this history.
I think one is education, and I might give a plug for Indigenous Reads. I'm encouraging people to read From the Ashes by Jessie Thistle, and it's a book that really gives you a different perspective on the life of someone who ended up on the streets. And so I highly recommend reading that. We're going to have Jessie do actually a book club virtual meeting later in June. So I think education is one aspect of it, but also, just you can look for organizations in both Hamilton and Toronto that are close by that are servicing, and in Peel. We don't really have anything in Halton that services Indigenous peoples. But there certainly is in Peel, Hamilton, and Toronto. But I think part of it is really educating Canadians about why people end up leaving the reserve, what kind of unique challenges they face when they're living in cities, and really confronting our own racism and the discrimination that we still hold towards Indigenous peoples in Canada.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. We are going to follow up with you next week. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thanks a lot, Jessica. It's always great to talk to you.
June 1st also marks the beginning of Pride Month. Burlington's Mayor Marianne Ward was part of the flag-raising ceremony that took place this morning at City Hall.
We raised the flag for Pride today to celebrate our LGBTQ+ community here in Burlington, and to say with a colorful flag at the top of our pole that we welcome you, we embrace you, you make our community richer. So we had the flag raising. It was my first in-person flag raising since the COVID pandemic began, and what a great opportunity to get out for the first one that is this one. And especially after some of the terrible events that we've seen in the United States, the explosion of racism and violence and just terrible situation happening across the United States, and we're not immune. Burlington has had our own experience with racism. We had anti-Semitic posters posted at City Hall. I've received emails that are anti-Islam, anti-Muslim, anti-Asian. We're not immune, and so we have to constantly be vigilant to say everybody is welcome in our community and that we won't tolerate any kind of racism or discrimination. And so today was particularly meaningful for our whole community, I think, to say through the lens of our LGBTQ community that we don't accept discrimination of any kind against anybody for any reason. And so it was great to be joined by my colleagues, Ward 1 Councillor Kelvin Galbraith, Ward 2 Councillor Lisa Currens, Ward 6 Councillor Angelo Bantavania, and Ward 4 Councillor Shauna Stolte had to happen to be walking to a meeting at that time, so she swung by as well. So it was great to see everybody from a social distance, all wearing masks.
Community organizations that serve vulnerable populations have been struggling financially during this COVID-19 crisis, and the federal government has stepped in to offer assistance. Burlington MP Karina Gould has the details for us on what the Emergency Community Support Fund is and how charities and nonprofits can benefit.
So thanks so much for asking. So right from the get-go, we've appreciated how important it is for our local frontline organizations, and particularly our charitable sector that is really on the front line of the response for, our most vulnerable people in our communities right across the country. But we also know that they've been struggling in terms of, raising additional resources right now, because it's a tough time for everyone. And so that's why we set up the $350 million Emergency Community Support Fund, which will support charities charities and not-for-profits in their important work and get vulnerable Canadians the resources that they need. The money will flow through national organizations like the United Way, Canadian Community Foundations Canada, and the Red Cross that can get funding to local organizations and vulnerable people quickly. So this is money for things like training volunteers, increasing at-home deliveries for seniors, or driving people with disabilities to appointments. With this fund, we're giving more resources to reflect the new realities and difficulties brought on by the pandemic. And right here in Halton and Hamilton, that means that the United Way will be provided an additional $1.2 million to support local charities and organizations that are on the front lines. And beginning on May 19th, the United Way Halton Hamilton will be accepting, or has been accepting, applications for grants from the Emergency Community Support Fund. And so funding will be issued on an ongoing basis through July 2020. So charities and community organizations are invited to visit the United Way Hamilton Halton website, and they can apply online.
The Burlington Dads helped put the finishing touches on the new wing of the Carmody Hospice over the weekend. Let's take a look.
There are dads here that lost family members and loved ones here, and they're here working and kind of closing a chapter and feeling good about it.
Some 13 or so years ago, my late wife spent her final month and a half or so here at Carpenter. It was almost unexplainable, the support that was given here from staff, from volunteers, the ability to have extended family and friends here as opposed to being at the hospital was immeasurable.
We're working feverishly, as most of you may know. We suffered a catastrophic flood back in September of 2019, right in the middle of when we were trying to finish off construction of our addition. It's delayed us a little bit, but we're nearing the finish line. And today the Burlington Dads are helping us do those last finishing touches. They're working, they're going crazy. I've never had such a honey-do list in my life, but yeah, we're getting a lot done today, and we're super excited for June the 8th. Just trying to get the hospice ready for us to be able to open our doors once again to the Burlington community and those residents and families that need our support and care. So they're amazing. I often say we couldn't do it without the community, and today is just one of those examples of the community at work. Again, as I mentioned, we're so blessed to be in Burlington. It's truly phenomenal.
Yeah, we're doing it! Before we head to break, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and congratulate Susan Ying. She was a special local winner out of our province-wide Local Heroes contest. The contest was meant to appreciate those who have gone above and beyond during the pandemic, and Susan Ying certainly did that. She organized a huge Facebook page that has been sewing masks and gowns for essential service workers in healthcare facilities. She's done such a great, amazing job recruiting people to sew and also help planning out the routes with St. John Ambulance for pickup and deliveries. Congratulations, Susan. We hope you enjoy your $100 gift card to a local restaurant as a small token of our appreciation for all the great work that you've been doing. Thanks for being with us. We do need to take a short break, but we'll be right back. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Last week, you may recall the Burlington Food Bank was asking for donations of certain items that they were running low on, such as peanut butter, but they want to ensure you that they are still well stocked and ready to help anyone in Burlington who needs assistance.
We just wanted to do a quick thanks out to our MPs, our MPPs, our ward councillors, and our mayor here in Burlington. All of them have been just incredible in supporting us. Sometimes when we have a bit of a bigger need, we'll put a request out to them and they'll take care of it for us. When we make mention of things like peanut butter and mac and cheese, we're just getting a little bit low on it. We're still doing okay. We're not running out of it. It's just if you're going out to the store and you want to know what to buy, we're just trying to let you know what it is that we need you to buy. We have right on our very front page of our website the most needed items, and you can just go there. You'll see the video of me. Sorry about that, but then just below that, you'll see a big banner. Just click on that. It'll take you to our top 10 most needed. We update that regularly. So as we start to go down a little bit in stock, we raise things up on the list so that you know what we're looking for. Yesterday we were able to purchase some peanut butter, so that helped us a lot, as well as some mac and cheese. But if you're out, there's still needed items for us. There's still the things that we have the lowest amount of, but we're definitely not running out of stuff because we've had such incredible support from the entire community of Burlington through the various food drives, through the various churches, and especially the different clubs and things like Rotaries and things like that around the city that are doing all they can for us. We also wanted to thank again the Gift of Giving Back, who are in the works of something special coming up over the next little bit, and we just want to thank everyone out there who's been supporting us.
Another beautiful day out there today. Here's a look at LaSalle Park in Burlington, which has reopened, but please note the splash pads and playgrounds remain closed. Hopefully you're enjoying this sunshine today because those clouds are going to roll in. We are looking at showers tomorrow, but 25 degrees, a 40% chance of showers on Wednesday as well, but that temperature will rise and continue to stay high into Thursday. Full sunshine expected. 27 as our high, up to 28 on Friday. Those clouds will roll in for our weekend, but still very nice mix of sun and clouds at 25 degrees. The Canadian Business Resilience Network's Small Business Relief Fund is now open for applications. It's a national initiative to provide small Canadian businesses with $10,000 grants to help in their COVID-19 recovery efforts. These grants are made possible by Salesforce and are available to businesses that have a valid membership with the Chamber of Commerce, Board of Trade, or any other business association that's a member of the CBRN. You have until June 12th to apply, and you can do so by visiting CanadianBusinessResilienceNetwork.ca/Small Business Relief Fund. The Oakville Chamber of Commerce Chair Tim Cadigan will host Sean Simpson, the Vice President of Ipsos Public Affairs, this Wednesday at noon, live from our Your TV studio on Conversations. They will discuss how Canadians are feeling the impact of COVID-19. It will be broadcast live here on Your TV and live streamed on the Oakville Chamber's website as well. If you'd like to join in on Zoom, visit oakvillechamber.com to get your free webinar ticket. Markets are up. Here's a look at today's closing numbers. More still ahead with the United Way and their virtual ceremony. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Halton News. I'm Jessica Kading. And up now we have John Chisholm from the United Way on this year's virtual campaign celebration.
Well, thank you for having me. As everyone has been, impacted by the effects of the pandemic, our annual wrap-up of the 29 campaign had to be virtual. It was still an effective campaign for 2019, and although we weren't able to get together at the Burlington Community Foundation with 450 people physically, we still celebrated a successful campaign and launched the 2020 campaign.
And how did the 2019 campaign end up?
We fell just short of our target of just over 11 million. We were around 10.7 million raised, which is a great success. But those funds are being deployed within the community. And given the impact of COVID-19, the community is in much greater need. So as much as we topped off a good campaign, the challenge is ahead of us as we strive to achieve our target goals for 2020, which have not yet been set. But as you can well imagine, the needs are pretty broad and deep within our community.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. With COVID-19, are you finding then that you're getting less and less funding coming in and donations?
Well, there is the pledges from 2019 are being recovered. There is some emergency funding that was raised within the community, and we've been lucky to receive some federal funding that will be deployed by the end of July. But as we approach the 2020 campaign needs, the impact, those social determinants of health have been evident than through this crisis. So there's a health crisis, but it's also impacting the economy. And as we start to now determine the impacts of the economy as a result of the pandemic, those needs are much greater in our community. And to a degree, it's basic needs, food, lodging, the mental health crisis that can evolve during during a health crisis, isolated seniors, which is a very big issue, the incidence of domestic abuse, fundamental needs by a great degree of our community are what United Way is determined to make an impact.
So the 2020 campaign has officially kicked off, but we're still waiting to find out on goals, and we'd love to have you back on the show to invite everyone to participate. I mean, it's open now, if you want to give those details for those who are eager to start getting involved.
Well, the cabinet has been launched, and I'm happy to chair that cabinet for this year as a volunteer. We do have September 19th targeted for our official campaign kickoff, and traditionally the last 4 years that's been a plane pull at the UPS hangar in the Hamilton Airport. That's on the calendar. We hope that we're able to actually do that with the physical distancing requirements, but we'll be happy to share that official launch of the campaign and our financial targets as we approach that date, the 19th of September. But I just want to thank the community for being so responsive in contributing to our immediate emergency funds and their continued support for the annual campaign.
And we'd like to thank you for all that you do in our community. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch.
Well, happy to do it. Thanks so much for having me.
And now for those of you trivia lovers, you should book this Thursday night in your calendar at 7 p.m. You can test your knowledge on throwback TV shows, films, and pop culture moments from the 2000s. This is a Brookside Chocolate event, and winners will be paid via surprise gift bags mailed to their homes. Even better, for each RSVP, Brookside Chocolate will donate $15 to Food Banks Canada. For more information, please visit brooksidechocolatetrivia.ca. The Eden Mills Writers Festival is presenting their In Your Own Backyard series online starting June 11th at 8 p.m. You can join host Karma Brown, journalist and best-selling author of Recipe for a Perfect Wife, as she leads the discussion. The event will include closed captioning, and you can register by visiting EdenMillsWritersFestival.ca and clicking the 2020 online series. All the featured books are available at the festival's book-selling partner, the Bookshelf in Guelph. You can order online, bookshelf.ca. Tonight in Burlington and Oakville, we have Returned to the Table with Julia Hannah. James Burchill begins our Smart Car Coffee Confidential at 7:30. At 8 o'clock, you can tune in to Original Music Series, and 8:30, Laurel Crosselby brings you Help, We've Got Anxiety. For viewers in Milton and Halton Hills, Better Together starts at 7. Get Legal with Samantha Glass follows at 7:30. Real Estate Simplifies with Seth Ferguson at 8, and Alex Hilson has Actin' Up at 8:30. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to see more content, please visit us online. You can find us at yourtv.tv. We're also on social media as Your TV Halton on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Halton News, I'm Jessica Kading, and I thank you so much for watching.